Hey, this is Yjang, the Tangent Podcast, and I just want to give a big shout out to our patron Julio. With patrons like you make this show possible. So it's time for season 2, episode 1, and let's get into the show. Hey everyone, welcome back to Tangent Podcast. This is season 2 of the brand new year. It's 2019, and I'm here with my good friend and pal, Redacted. How are you feeling today?
You just revealed my full first name. It's Jeff. But yeah, I mean,
Oh,
Jeff
crap.
works, but only call me Jeff if you're like my close friend. So Yjang can say it, but none of you random plebeians out there.
Yes, I'm with my good friend Jeff here today, and you'll never refer to him by his real secret hidden name.
It's
For
like
if
a
you were
demon.
to hear this name, it will conjure upon the most darkness of dark.
Darkness within darkness.
In order for you to feel the most despair in your
You will
entire
feel
life.
despair.
And not only that, but you'll have the worst shits available in an Indian curry restaurant.
And Chipotle.
And Chipotle.
And
Subway. You know what? I actually gotta say something. I take that back, because Indian food is great. And I just had some, actually not too long ago, about a week ago, I had some Indian food. And I gotta say, I take back everything I say about that. I take back what I just said. Indian food is great.
I tried to make some curry once and it came out terribly. So, yeah.
I have never tried make curry. I never tried making curry, but man, it's delicious. And I think it's one of the most underrated foods that I hear now that I think about it.
I would say in like where we live, yeah, definitely. But in other places like England and such, I think it's pretty popular. Hey, let's talk about the government shutdown.
That's exactly.
That's a good transition.
I mean, since we're talking about America, America's kind of like having a little bit of temper tantrum at the moment.
Is the government still shut down?
It is partially. It's been going on. God Emperor is still on a temper tantrum. He wants the border wall, and he's not going to stop until he gets it.
I want my wall, mommy.
It seems to be the case. I mean, like, and this is funny. This is funny, but it's like, out of all the things, like, you had to start off the new year with a problem with, it had to be the wall. And I mean, it makes sense, I guess, because this is like his last effective year as a president, unless he kind of like, trips the lame duck model of being a president. But it's petty, like all these people who've been, like, since Christmas, they haven't got their pay.
Getting back to the border wall, or the shutdown, whatever.
I think the New York Times I was just reading today in the newspaper because
Don't you know the New York Times is fake news?
But I decided to read a newspaper today, and
What are you, 80?
I am, okay? And the funny thing is, okay, I only read the newspaper when I'm at Starbucks, and when I'm at Starbucks, I'm there to do work. But whenever I do take a break for like 10 minutes, I kind of like go through the headlines and see my favorite, stories I want to read. So I think I remember reading this somewhere. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. I remember there was an article, and because I have some blockers, there's this article on the New York Times that was saying that most of the workers are pissed, and that we're just being used as pawns for this political game, as hostages until the president gets what he wants. So a lot of people who are like, unemployed or not getting paid now are just gonna be, sucking it up and have to deal with it as they don't have any money. So this is the thing that comes with when you just work for the government, that this kind of stuff can happen.
Wait, aren't all the national parks shut down?
Yep. You can't go to them now. No one's working.
Oh, I get the tourists. I bet the tourists love that.
Oh, yeah. They love this.
It's like, oh, sorry. Yellowstone is shut down, people. Trump wants the wall.
Yeah, and can't do it. I mean, these are the kind of things that you just, if the government's not going to, pay or do any of its, spending. Because the thing is, the only reason the government shutdown happens is because no one agrees to a budget. And because things need to get paid, that means no one gets paid if no one creates an invoice.
Then how do they pay for, like, cops and stuff? Wait, no,
That's local.
Isn't that state?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's local and state. So thank goodness there's like federations, because at least you can like your state can do its own thing while the government does its own thing. But
Flounders,
you
yeah.
know, but the USPS, that's owned by the national government. So
That's why all my packages took so long to get here, and they're taking so long.
exactly. So if you
Because, like, for example, I ordered something
mhm.
like December 27th. I ordered a album,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's gonna be here like January 17th.
Yeah, it's going to take a while. The longer this shutdown happens, the harder it's going to be for you to get packages. So it's like,
Uh,
and a lot of things just were like so much harder to do just because of this. I mean, I wonder sometimes though if the FedEx or the other postal carriers are, doing good during this time of year, but I doubt it.
yeah, yeah. So what's your opinion on the wall itself?
If you okay, I'm gonna play devil's advocate and act as like the person who doesn't want immigrants over. This is like the most dumb way I could think of putting up like actual borders, and it's just expensive because if you wanted like to be really get people out of here, then you could just hire more like ICE agents to do that.
The border wall will never get done.
It's just
Okay.
not gonna happen unless something ungodly or some miracle for Trump happens. I can't see that happening in our future. I remember hearing an article about the LA Times how the LAPD hates it when ICE agents impersonate as police officers because it makes it hard for them to do their job for people who are undocumented immigrants, and because of that, they don't trust the police or are not able to come out with crimes because whenever ICE says, "Hey, it's the police. We're just here to ask a couple questions," and the ICE agent, that it kind of screws them over. I don't know how the best way to explain it is like ICE is kind of like remember the Virgin versus Chad versus Thad memes?
Yeah,
Okay, so Chad is basically ICE and Virgin is basically the police officers.
that's quite the
It is
analogy.
quite the analogy. The only reason I make that is because I'm a frequent on r/Virgin versus Chad. I don't know why I like that subreddit, but it's
Yeah, because that's such an old meme at this
it
point.
is. But so okay, man. Maybe my humor is stuck like 2 years ago, but it's the kind of stuff
I
that
mean,
brings me back.
it's not the worst place to be stuck
Oh
out.
no,
You could be stuck at this time last year, which was Ugandan
God,
knuckles.
no. That's no. At least I have class, man. There's better memes, okay?
I think you wanted to talk about this Chinese social credits thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. So this should have been talked about earlier, and I might switch around. So in going on into news, recently I was looking up on the NY Times, and I don't know why, but this story just like hit me in the wrong way when I was reading this, and essentially what's going on in China, and I'll let for the readers kind of get an idea of how I feel about it. I mean, not the readers, the listeners, but basically in China at the moment, there are, in fact, professional censors being employed by the Chinese government. Here it is, censoring China's internet stability and profit. And it was by I'm sorry, I can't pronounce her name well, so forgive me. Is it Li Yuan? And she was talking to this guy, Li Chuanzi, who is basically a professional censor. He's like a young 24-year-old, college grad. And for the longest, like a lot of Chinese people, they never knew about the Tiananmen Square, crackdown. And he never even heard about like, Liu Xiaobo, a Nobel Peace Prize laureate who was like a Chinese dissident, and he also died in custody 2 years ago. So because of this, he's basically, he's trained by the government to look for, questionable or, content that's against the state's interests. And basically it's his job to cleanse the online environment. And looking at this, it's like, it's kind of sick because the thing is, these, professionals are basically tasked because, the government's going to crack down unless you say something, against it or you mention things that would be against the party. So you want to hire contractors who will censor your work for you, so you don't have to even talk about that. And it's a lot of money apparently for these young guys coming in. It's like getting a good like 50K or something like above that salary. So looking at this, it's just terrible in my opinion. I don't know. It's just especially been happening more under Winnie the Pooh, the leader.
Xi Jinping.
Yeah, Winnie the Pooh. Um, I don't know. The reason I say is because a lot of people were making jokes that he looks like that, and when I looked at looking at Xi Jinping and Winnie the Pooh, and I'll put this in the on the chat. He and Winnie the Pooh look kind of alike, but the thing is though, because it's been mentioned so much that anytime those are compared to one another, it's it's not really going. It's not too well for the guy here. Let me just put it up. If you were to make that kind of stuff on your social media in China, you won't be able to live long.
You'd have some policemen come.
Yep, not just policemen. Probably they take you away.
Yeah, well, that's what you get when you get a communist government.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really just sad, and I kind of wanted to hear what you think about it a little bit, but I think I know that you're just against communism for sure, but
yeah, I think this is what you get when you get a authoritarian government of any kind, whether it be right or left wing. They'll try to purge anything that's not their views. They'll try to get rid of it. And I know China isn't completely communist anymore. They've got some capitalist ideas and such, but they're still a communist regime. Their actual heads of state is still a communist run thing, and I think that's what you get. If you have a government like that, and if you're okay with that, this is what you expect. I mean, it's definitely not. It's not right at all, and I hate it. But the only way to fix that is to overthrow this communist government and install anything else.
Now, this is
anything that's not authoritarian. Huh?
This is the thing I have to kind of disagree with you with. Not so much no. Let's get this straight. I'm not the one who's saying yes, communism is a good thing. No, I'm not the person saying that at all. But what I do think is that there's not really a simple answer for this, overthrowing it though, because looking at this is like the equivalent, if I had to think about it, like a 1984 kind of state where you really can't just, I'm going to just, wipe China off the planet by rising up against it or creating some kind of, civil unrest or something like that, because, 1989 just proved that the government doesn't care.
Hong Kong almost did it.
Yep. I mean, but the thing is, though, is that it's not going to look good for you if you try to, uprise. And even if you even think about it, they probably have some kind of way to detect that before you even get a chance. So, and not even that.
But still, there's no other way to get rid of it then, but outside influence and change, which I doubt anyone wants to go to war with China anytime soon.
Well, that's the thing. Is China's doing if I wanted to play civilization and I wanted to make sure that I won't get wiped off the map. They're going for the influence economic victory, where they're going to make sure that you have to buy from them, you have to trade with them, to the point where you just can't live without them. I mean, look at Google bowing down and having to create, I think it was Project Dragonfly, until it was called out by its own employees, but even then they're still going through with that. Which is terrible. It's just terrible because it's the kind of thing that, it's a company that I know doesn't want to be put in this situation, but it can't ignore that kind of market. And if they don't do it, then a competitor in China will just do it for them. And I understand they're thinking, you know what, I'd rather be the one in there than be the one out of it,
But still, you shouldn't help authoritarian regime like that. It's just wrong.
It is, and that's this situation is just not easy, and I don't feel sympathy for Google, but I understand that this is some tough decisions. But in my opinion, I don't think I'd feel comfortable being the person that green lighted. We should be part of censoring, people who could be really using that information for good. And on top of that, knowing stuff about the Uyghur treatment in China, about how ethnic.
Yeah, that's fucked up too.
It's just internment camps, and everyone's yeah, that looks bad, but damn it, I can't think of a way to fund how to
But we
make
want to
new
sell
cups or
iPhones there.
Yeah, the iPhones. Though I do know that recently, actually recent news, Apple's been trying to make some moves to, I think, establish India as its new iPhone production center.
That's fine by me. Better than China.
Better than China, indeed. I mean,
India is at least a democracy. It's not the best country out there. They've got a lot of their own problems, but it's better than China
I mean,
by a long shot.
I don't know. Maybe this is Apple's try to just. I mean, I know the reason they did is for purely economic because
Of course.
there were some deals that allowed it to make it cheap to manufacture there and sell in India, but I don't know. I know this will be really idealistic because, and it's probably not practical that they'll find a way to circumvent China, but any way to like make it harder, in my opinion, even if it's not their intention, is good on me.
Yeah, I think weakening the Chinese regime is the best thing to do.
Look at us. We're probably going to get blacklisted or by China.
I don't really care.
I hope I do not enter anywhere near Chinese airspace for my own safety. Because this will be really bad if I were to go one day like, hey, Yjang, we're having this
take down the Chinese Communist government, overthrow them. Rise up, Chinese people. I can never go to China now.
You can't, really. We can't. If we even set our foot, they're like, oh, wait a minute. Didn't they say this about us? Oh.
I wonder if I can go to Hong Kong, though.
I don't think I would risk it, man. I mean, sure, you could. Yeah. You can go right now because they're on this, like... If I remember correctly, they're in the 50-year transition where, like, they gave up transition from Britain to China, and it recently happened. And right
now, I'll just go to Korea and South Korea, like South Korea and
be right next Japan. To big Kim Jong-un.
It's better than taking my chances with Beijing, right?
Yeah, I don't know, but hey, speaking of East Asia, you know what I can't wait for coming up next year?
What's that?
The 2020 Olympics, baby, in Tokyo.
Yeah, that should be pretty good. I don't really watch the Olympics, but good
what?
for them. I watch, like, I'll turn it on when it's happening, be like, oh yeah, this is happening. And then I'll forget it's happening, be like, oh, these countries won. I'm like, oh, good for them, cool.
I mean, yeah, I'll admit that's kind of me too, but I really love watching the Olympics because it's like, I don't know why, but it's like the equivalent of seeing like a tournament arc in anime because it's like, you see all the best people in the world competing against each other. That's just amazing, in my opinion. It's like having like a Broly fight.
Yeah, but like listen, if there was like fighting,
there is.
Okay, well
there's
then
karate
I'll watch
this
that.
time.
Okay, yeah, I'll watch that. I don't care about like not. I was gonna say cribbage.
Oh, what?
What's that game where they push the stone across the like ice?
Oh crap!
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's in the Winter Olympics. This is not the year.
Yeah.
Actually, wait.
Well, whatever. I don't care about like javelin throwing either.
Okay, like, but tell me racing.
Or disc throwing.
What about
racing? Listen, racing is fine, but I prefer car racing. But that's just because I was born in the South, so it's like in my blood. What's it called?
I don't know. I just like the track. Like, I like track. That's one of my favorite sports to watch because it's always like who's the fastest. That's always fun.
I like archery though.
Archery is cool. I'll admit that's one of the fun ones. But
I remember I saw a thing. I don't think it's from the Olympics, but it was some like competition. I think it was in Japan or some other.
Which one? Beijing?
Country. No, it wasn't from the Olympics. But I remember I just saw it on Reddit, and this woman, she shot this arrow, and apparently right at the middle of the bullseye on the like target where they shoot is a camera, and she shot the arrow directly into the camera lens. So they got a shot of the arrow entering the lens, and yeah, it was really cool looking. And it cuts back to her just like, oh my god, I hit a perfect bullseye. So
perfect bullseye. Wow.
Yeah, that was cool. But like, I don't care about a lot of stuff at the Olympics. Like, I'll probably just watch the stuff that I want to see.
I mean, yeah, that's I don't blame people how they watch it, but I always think that if you don't watch the Olympics, you're missing out on some really cool stuff there. I don't know.
I just hope they don't do what other countries have done and build a giant stadium and never use it again. Looking at you, Brazil.
It's probably gonna happen. Honestly, I don't know.
Honestly,
Maybe I don't know if they would. But I hope that
I hope they don't.
I mean, Japan's efficient. They'll figure out some way to make good
And
use
I
out of
hope
it.
they don't push people out of their houses like Brazil did. Which, listen, Brazil just handled their Olympics terribly, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I would never go to the Brazil Olympics. When I saw all the reports, I was like, I know I don't have the money to afford this, but if I did, I'm glad I would pass this up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What's the Olympics after Tokyo though? Where are they gonna be held?
I do not know. Let me check for the 2024. Can someone get a read on
2024 Olympics. Google. Los Angeles.
What?
Wait,
no.
Wait,
that's in Paris.
No, that's for 2028. Okay, so LA is 2028, but 2024 is Paris.
LA in 2028. Okay. That's gonna be
finally getting a American one again. Cool.
Okay, cool. That's interesting. 2028. What's going on in 2022 since we're talking about Olympics for the winter ones? Oh, it's going to be Beijing again. Oh, wow. So fun. Yay. Look at China. It's like how many years? Like they did the 2012 Beijing Olympics.
Why don't they do it like
and another 10 years comes again. I guess
I
they're
have
making
Google
good
Maps
use of
open. Let me just spin the globe and land somewhere. Why don't they do it in Indonesia? That'd be cool.
You have to bid
or
and get money to host,
Do it in like Singapore. That'd be different at least. It's still Asian,
But you have to have the money to bid for that,
Okay, Australia could do it, Do it in Sydney.
Oh, boy. Let me check actually
No, they're not going to... Okay, my brother just said something under his breath. That they should do the Winter Olympics in Florida.
I didn't know you were talking about the winter.
No,
there's actually a Youth Olympics. Did you know that?
I remember there's a
like,
disabled Olympics for like mentally disabled people. Because I watched a video.
Special Olympics. The Youth Olympic Games. It's in Lausanne, in Switzerland. Okay.
Here it is.
Cool.
This video by a great channel, Austin McConnell, about the Paralympics and how a team won that wasn't disabled because they were faking being disabled.
Whoa. I gotta watch this. I'll put.
Yeah, it was a good video because basically this I believe he's Spanish. I haven't watched the video in a few months, but the Spanish coach who was known for training teams of these disabled people for the Paralympics. This was the Sydney 2000 one. He decided that he wanted to win this year. So he got a bunch of guys. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 guys. And 10 of them were not disabled. 2 of them were actually like mentally disabled people, And 10 of them were just pretending. And like they like paid like doctors to say that they were disabled, like basically bribing them and stuff. And they got in and won, but like every single one of those 10 was later like banned. I think from participating in those kind of sports in Spain because it's just so shameful for them.
Hey, that's really messed up, honestly.
Yeah. I don't know how I.
Yeah.
You're talking about the Olympics.
I don't know. This is terrible to find out. Actually, I just realized something. Apparently, I don't know why I did not think this would exist, but every Olympics has its own website.
Really?
Yeah, and you know what I'm thinking?
What?
Okay, listeners, hear me out, all right? Maybe this is a bit of a gamble, but maybe what we should do is that people should just take a gamble and bet of a different Olympic year and buy domains for that. It's like,
well, they'd probably have like the Olympic Association like, listen, give that to us right now.
No, I understand.
We'll pay you like $1,000.
I understand that, but I'm thinking like, would it be such a gamble? Like, okay, you just pick a random popular.
It's like, okay, guessing 2032 Olympics in rolls dice, London,
and then you just hope
2032 Olympics in roll dice, Rio. Wait, no, they already did it. I can't do that.
No. The thing is, like, think about Beijing, all right? They only 10 years apart, and they had another Olympics. So If I were you, I would just go and pick all potential Olympic years.
Or like 2032, Berlin.
Mm-hmm. Just redo any ones that already had an Olympic, like Tokyo. Just do it again for like 30 years and just like as many Olympics you can think of.
Yeah. Oh my god, genius.
This is how you become rich, my friends.
Steve Jobs just texted me. It's like, hey man, you want a job at Microsoft?
What?
Harvard just like texted me like, yo, you have a 4,000 IQ. We want you.
Yeah, I feel like this is how you become rich, my friends. Honestly.
Yeah, honestly.
When they pay you that $10,000, ooh, that's gonna be a cool buck.
Yeah, and you'll probably spend it all within like 2 months.
Yeah, exactly. But you'll feel rich for 2 months.
Listen. Okay, you will have the lap of luxury. You can buy a 2008 Honda fucking Civic.
A 2008
with only 19% interest. Ooh.
Actually, you know what? Better yet, you can probably buy somebody's used cars for like $8,000 and then trick it out with an extra stereo.
Oh my god, living the high life.
Yeah, that's how you go, boy. Just for a domain that you paid $14 for.
Yeah. Easy money, boys. Listen, better chances than playing the fucking lottery, honestly. That actually is better chances, no doubt. Listen, there are only so many cities that the Olympics could be held in.
Exactly. I'm just saying, like, look, if you want a better chance at winning the lottery...
Listen, we are giving you life tips right now.
This
Don't put that dollar down the library. Just save up for a couple weeks and buy random domains for the, like, 2030 Olympics.
Better yet. Look, here's the thing I need to tell you guys. I know what you're thinking. It seems like really bad financial advice. Why would I use that 10% of my money that I would put towards my savings towards buying domains for potential Olympic, hosts? And I get it. It's uncomfortable, and no one thought about this before, but you have to take that step that other people aren't willing to do. And don't you want to be rich?
Also, if you want something a bit more secure and that will deliver quality products and you'll get your money worth, you could always give us money on Patreon.
That's right. And Patreon, where you can find awesome content like this, and you help support the show so that way we can keep on giving you fantastic financial advice every episode.
More like every 6 or 7 episodes, probably.
I think I understand when people are saying like they need a office space or workspace and these whole idea of them come around, because I need a separation from being easy access to my games and YouTube. Like, even though I can access YouTube at home, I'm less inclined to do that because I'd rather laze around and just sleep, watching YouTube or Netflix.
Gotta get some, like, determination, my man.
I understand that. I mean, I do work at home whenever I want to, and I'm, like, really determined to. But, like, there's nothing like having a environmental shift. And I think here's the reason why. For me, my environment matters more to me than just determination and willpower. Because if I'm in an environment that is conducive to me wanting to do a certain thing, like lay down and sleep in my bedroom, then I want to do that. I mean, I think that's what most living things have an association to certain areas. Like my brain, when I go in my room, it's thinking either, okay, it's time to lay down and watch some YouTube or Netflix or play some games, versus, okay, time to go here and do work, which makes sense because I want my room to be a place where I can relax, But if I go to like a Starbucks or go to a library or just anywhere outside my bedroom that's indoors, I feel more, I feel like I want to do work there. And Starbucks is even better for me because I have other people who are either there to talk business, there to chat, or they're working. So I feel like it would be really weird if I'm the one guy who's just getting his blanket from the car, laying down and watching like My Hero Academia for the 4 episodes while everyone else is doing, something else.
I just don't get going to Starbucks to do work. Like if I gotta do work, I'll just like shut all my game stuff off, open up some music, and get to work.
Well, I think like your music is the way you get into it. For me, I need more than just music, depending on the situation. Like it mostly things I need to get done and allow work as fast or as efficient as possible. That's why I go, and it keeps me in separation from like someone calling me and saying, "Hey, can you do this for me?" or blah blah blah, and it allows me to just focus on the work without any breaks in my mental focus. So that's why I like going to there. Now, like, grant, I understand that people are like, "Oh, isn't that expensive?" And yeah, it is. But the thing is, I buy like I'm a cheap guy to go to Starbucks with. I'm like the cheapest thing I think you can get at Starbucks is like $1.95 coffee. And for me today, I decided to treat myself out to a cold brew, which is like $4. But even then, I was like, I can get refills on that for the whole time when I was there. So I had ice cold coffee for like as much as I want for $2.
Yeah, I don't know any of that means because I don't drink coffee, and I've only gone to Starbucks once, and it was with you.
Wait, you never been to Starbucks except for that? Okay, for the listeners, one time I was asking Jeff to pick me up at Starbucks because I was dropped off there to do a little bit of work to see you, and when I was there, apparently it was the first time you even went there, and I got you tea, some green tea, and it was
kind of garbage.
It was scalding hot. I mean, it was so bad. When I felt how hot it was, I was like, "Oof, this is gonna be painful."
And it wasn't the best. Like it was all right, but I could make better at home.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's more of a coffee place.
I mean, yeah. I mean, though they do own the largest tea chain in America, Teavana. So if you wanted better tea, you would probably go to something owned by Starbucks anyway.
So there was a Reddit post.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, the Reddit post was something about it was in Reddit where it was r/meeirl, and if I remember correctly, a post came up that was really abnormal, nothing like the others, and a Redditor, which I don't know the username.
It's user/beefy_cabbage.
Cabbage.
Yes.
I'll set the scene. User Beefy Cabbage was on Me IRL, and unlike the other posts, it wasn't the same format where he posted an image and said a Me IRL similar to the sub's rules. Instead, it was highly specific. A threat, some people say. A threat that the Queen will die on January 5th. To which now, the English government has now set on high alert to find Beefy Cabbage.
Now, that is a rumor. Wait, actually, it's a screenshot of BBC News. As you can see there, the headline reads, MI6 investigation sparked after alleged January 5th plot to kill the Queen.
At the Clout Game?
Huh? Oh, that's probably the
screenshot.
Person who took the screenshot. What's it called? And there's been a ton of memes about how, what's it called? When the Queen dies, Big Ben will fucking explode.
It's my last Wednesday, my dudes. Oh, God.
And I'll try to find a few more, but basically Me IRL has been obsessed with this for the past, like, week.
Oh, God.
And there was a huge post by a guy named U/not MI6 who came for asking information about Beefy Cabbage. And here's another one. They've been just having a field day.
Yes, the Queen showing up alive on January 6th.
Or like this one posted yesterday, which it says, the Queen, I want to live for at least 4 more days. U/Beefy Cabbage. 3, take it or leave it. And that was posted yesterday. Which yesterday was the 2nd.
So right now, this is being recorded on the 3rd. And in the future, as this comes up in about 10 days, the future will know. And the reason we post this up
Will the queen be alive?
But will editor Yjang actually spill the beans and tell you right after this?
And this is my favorite one.
London has
fallen. Beefy Cabbage, the queen, and I'm not MI6. Big Ben explodes 5th of January. And it's like a movie poster with a guy with a gun, but he's a cabbage.
I think this is from London Has Fallen. It's pretty good. This is pretty good. I like it. This is a good meme. I like this kind of meme. It's funny. Hopefully nothing bad happens. I doubt it will. And if it does, then I don't know how I'm gonna respond and edit that.
It's like, holy shit.
It's cold. And we're laughing. Oh god.
Yeah. Listen. Somebody assassinated the queen and we're laughing right now.
Jesus. If this happens, future Yjang, I need you to put we need to make an executive decision on how we're gonna...
Listen, you better not cut this.
I don't know if I should. I don't know if I shouldn't. I don't know what we have to do. Oh goodness. Here's a good question.
But the memes are too good.
Gosh, I mean, I don't know. This would be okay. Hear me out though. What is the protocol if you imagine someone who made a joke about 9/11 before 9/11 and they didn't know something like this would happen? How do you what's the protocol for that? Because I would think the protocol is delete and be quiet.
No, you had no control over. You couldn't have known.
I guess so, but it's more like the...
Like to me right now, this is still a joke. I doubt the queen will die on January 5th and Big Ben
I understand that.
Explode.
No,
okay?
I feel the same way, but it's like, if it ever did something like that where we kind of predicted it, that would be like...
Then Beefy Cabbage is a prophet.
Beefy Cabbage is not only a prophet, but he's an assassin. I don't know. This is I don't know why. I just wanted to add that in.
Thanks for listening to Death Threats Against the Queen.
That's what we're going to call that. Oh god, no. That's not the title. That is not the title.
Coward.
I am a sane man.
Listen, we've already been banned from China, okay? Let's add the UK to that list. ...2018's memes were kind of trash around the board.
Yeah, I mean, Fortnite memes were like, I get it, because it's popular. I don't know, maybe it's just like a revival of like the kind of memes you will hear with Minecraft.
Oh god, is this the Fortnite generation?
I mean... I guess so. I mean, think about this. I'm not really against it. I think, if anything, I would like to play more of it, but I don't know.
Never played it.
It's kind of... It's fun. It's a fun game, all right? It's a fun game, but I just think about, like, is this what it was like when other people heard about Minecraft? Because I feel like it's a bit different, you know? I don't know why, but I feel it's like... Because it's Epic Games, and it's not like an indie studio like Yjang, and there's not the same kind of community, it feels different.
Yeah, Fortnite does just feel different than Minecraft. Minecraft, I don't know. It felt like this is something new, like there wasn't anything like it. Fortnite was just the battle royale who won.
Basically, yeah. And I mean, that's nothing wrong with it. I liked Minecraft back in the day because it was pure freedom and creativity. You can do it.
It was like playing with Legos.
Yeah, and that's the fun thing about ice. The funny thing is, I'm talking to you right next to this whole bucket of Legos. But I remember this clip from Nakey Jakey in his last video. Talking.
It's a good channel.
It's a great channel. If you haven't, go watch it. And I remember him saying that the difference between Red Dead 2 and how it acts and what it wants to be, like a free open range world versus a track that you have to follow to complete the story and missions, is that would you prefer a pre-packaged or set out Lego set, or would you like a bucket of Legos that have no meaning, nothing together, but you can do whatever hell you want with it?
Mm-hmm. It's a difference between something like say Gary's Mod and a story-driven game like, I don't know, or like the Last of Us.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with either or. It's a matter of what you prefer to do. And I think like if you want story, it's good for you because you can just focus on going through the story and if you want to save time. But the thing about games like Minecraft I enjoyed is that if you want to follow the story, okay, there is like an actual story. It's not much, but it's something. But really it's just like, hey, this is a platform. Do whatever the heck you want. You want to make a giant ship out of bricks? Okay, cool. Do you want to make a laser tag in Minecraft? Sure, there's some mods for that. You want to have a Hunger Games that created the boy? If you want to talk about Battle Royale, Minecraft had done that long ago with the whole Hunger Games series, but whatever.
Do you remember the first Minecraft sport, Spleef?
Oh, God, Spleef. Oh.
I used to play that all the time on, like, listen,
that was...
in my middle school, but we set up a local Minecraft server, and we would set up Spleef tournaments. They'd leave all their stuff at home, and they'd come in, and we'd all give everyone an iron shovel, and there was 2 layers of dirt over a pit of lava, and whoever was the last man standing,
oh God,
won like 3 diamonds or something like
that. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
It was like barbaric early age Spleef, but it was so much
fun. I mean, that's the kind of fun that's... I don't know. I just like the fact that if you wanted to, you could create that. And I think, like, even, like, for example, did you know that Minecraft comes pre-packaged in, like, Raspberry Pis for free?
Huh?
Yeah.
You mean like food?
No, okay. No. There is a kind of... I don't know how to describe it. I'm not too deep into this section.
Is it like coding?
Kinda. It's basically a small microcomputer that you can do whatever you want with, and pre-packaged in it, there's like, you can make this to do like, create like a home automation or create like a little LED lights or something like that, whatever you want to do. But in it, there's a thing called Minecraft Pi, if I remember correctly, and you can play the base, Minecraft 1.0 in that game as much as you want,
Huh, interesting.
It's fun, and if you want to, you can mod it, do whatever you want, but it all runs on like, I think less than a gigabyte of memory, of like the whole system memory.
Yeah, and like getting back to Fortnite, like I've never played it, but I've played Battle Royales, and they're just, it's not that fun to me. Like, if I want to play a multiplayer shooter, I'd rather play something team-based, like TF2 or even something like Overwatch. Because I just like that cooperative, like, let's get this objective, let's get the flag, rather than just, I'm going to shoot everyone who I see.
Well, I mean, you can do it as teams, if I remember correctly. And I think the reason people like Fortnite, besides the emotes and, the decorations, and I remember going to, I think, Target, a couple of days ago, and that's why I saw most people caring about the costumes. But I do take knowledge of the fact that there's a lot of building aspects that you can do out of it. Like, you can build towers or whatever you want.
Well, from what I've seen, most of the building is you whip out the building thing and build staircases as fast as you can. And then, like, it's not like Minecraft where you build houses or you build, statues and all these big things. It's like, I'm building this so I don't get shot. And then it immediately gets destroyed.
You know what? It'd be really fun to do? I'm not too sure if I would be willing to do that now, but it'd be fun to make like a whole Minecraft project for like the show. I don't know why, but
hey, let's include it as a Patreon reward. You get the IP to our Minecraft server.
Like, that'd be great. Oh goodness, I don't know, but let's just.
I haven't played Minecraft in a long time.
I recently bought the game again on my laptop, and it's been fun just to play around with it. And whenever I get the time, it's really just, I don't know. I like it because Minecraft is pretty zen. I think that's the reason why I like it.
And it's like nostalgic. It's like, man, I remember when I was 12.
You know what? Speaking of nostalgia, I gotta talk about. I remember hearing this video. Have you seen the video from Knowledge Hub? I think you watched that channel a little bit, right?
Yeah. Which video?
It's a video recently called "Nothing Defines the 2010s."
Yes, I saw.
And I'm not too sure if we talked about it, but I do kind of want to revisit this thought.
I think we talked about it a little bit, but we mostly got into generations.
Right, and I kind of want to talk about, okay, in not generations wise, but do you think anything like really defines what 2010 is all about, or even last year?
Um, if I had to define last year,
Yeah.
um, well, it'd be different for me because last year I felt like I figured out who I was. But as for like the year itself,
Mm-hmm.
like for everybody, or at least the people like
Well,
around
yeah. Let's
us,
just say in America, and like in our section of the world, in our,
um, I really can't.
and that's so odd, right? Like, you would think with all the things that goes on around, you would find one big thing that would really hold it
Like
down.
I can think of one for 2016 would be the election.
Yeah.
2017, I don't know. It was Trump's first year in, and that was something. It was wild. 2018, I don't know. It didn't feel like much.
It felt like an
It just
extension of
felt like
2017, you know?
yeah, like 2017 too.
Part two. Part
Yeah,
I
season 2.
and you know what? I, I I I think about this kind of stuff because like more and more, I can't say more things defined a year as we go forward. Like I can remember 2012 as being like a big year for like YouTube wise in terms of Minecraft and the gaming channels just
It was
exploding.
such an explosion. Yeah.
I can say like certain eras were explosions of things, but the bigger in scope I go, the harder it is for me to track it down. Like, and I think this just comes down to how massive the world is and also what we do, because it's not like, well, I could go back in time and say like certain things in this generation, this will be the defining moment of this decade. And then maybe 2010s would have that with like 2001, but I don't know. It feels like out of that video I
I
saw.
think that's something that's defined after the decade. Like in the 2020s, we'll probably look back and have a more concrete view of what the 2010s were, like what their main defining thing was.
Mm-hmm.
But being in it, like I bet if you walked up to somebody in like 1996 and you're like, "Hey, what's the 90s about?" They'd be like, "I don't know."
Yeah, maybe that's a.
But if you talked about somebody in like 2003, they'd be like, "Oh, the 90s were blah 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 blah."
Yeah, I think I understand what you mean. It's a lot of just hindsight when we make these kind of generalizations, and maybe that's the thing. But I'm looking into this like past 10 years. I mean, besides my own experiences, but maybe those are the experiences I should care about more in reality.
I think there's a personal scale and there's a broader scale. Like for me, I can probably define every single year, because I remember most of them, and they're all so different from each other mostly. But in a global scale, or at least like American scale, it'd be harder,
Right. Uh, actually thinking about this, since we're talking about like themes of the year, is looking back on last year and this year, what are some big themes that you plan to create, or if you found last year that you want to do?
What do you mean?
That's a bad example. I think what I'm trying to say is, what do you think is your theme? I guess we're moving into resolutions. What do you think is like your theme or resolutions that you wanted to do this year?
Well, my New Year's resolution was to keep being myself and to not, hide myself from the world anymore.
Right.
What's it called? Funnily enough, I was hanging out with one of Jacob's friends because he came over to the house over the break, and he said that was a pretty like stupid resolution because you are yourself every day, but I don't mean it in that way. Like, yeah, I am me every day, but I want to be me, and that's my resolution because I don't want to stop doing this. I mean, it's stressful sometimes. Sometimes I just want to put the mask back up and let everything slide by, but I don't want to do that. I want to be me. For the future, for this year, keep doing that and try to keep a positive outlook. I was so swamped in negativity for so long, and I still am a lot of time. I'm a pessimistic person, but just learning how to get that silver lining on that cloud. Just not giving in to despair.
Right.
So
But yeah, I think that's the best way to think about it. I don't know, especially how things are going on recently. I can see that it's really easy to jump into it. Like my family was like, "Oh, crime is going crazy now," and
Yeah, yeah, and just trying to stay level-headed. Not giving in to anger or getting too depressed. I mean, it's good to have those emotions, because we're all human, but you can't let them override you. You can't let them override who you are.
mm-hmm.
So, yeah, but the world does seem to be spinning more and more towards that way.
I can tell. I mean, I don't know why, but I just feel people get this sense of like dread and kind of like
They
anxious
should burn it.
and nervousness, just because it's like when you hear about all this stuff that's happening and will happen if less things change differently, it's really easy to jump into it. And
Yeah.
I guess for me, my own life philosophy kind of saves me from having to think about it or worrying about it too much. And if I had to describe my life philosophy, is that you can only control what is in your realm. You can't save or control the world. And that's something that I try to keep with me, because if you can't really control what's going on outwards,
But you can influence it.
you can influence it, but I don't feel responsible, or I don't feel like I am, directly affected of the world. The most I can do is adapt, and that's the best way to think about it.
That's definitely an outlook. Like, I try to keep the idea that what I put out there in the world, it matters somewhat, because it affects other people, and then they affect other people, and that goes on and on and on. So I try to put my best out there. Try to stay positive. Try to spread that. Try to send good messages. And it'll hopefully go out there and do something good in the world. It probably won't end up causing huge ripples, but enough small ripples and you can build a tsunami. That's probably not how the saying goes, but it's close enough.
Small ripples building a tsunami. That's some powerful ripple right there.
Well, if you get hundreds, thousands of them.
Oh yeah, definitely. Shoot, I was about to make a joke, but I'm gonna hold back from that.
Do it. We haven't referenced anime once, okay? You said dread and I said burn it, and that's like it's kind of a subtle reference.
I want to talk about if we're going to talk about jokes, I can't say that I am like the funny guy, and as much as I would like to, I feel like most of my actual, hilarity and the fun things that come out of my mouth happens when I don't even think about it, but for some reason I get too deep into an idea that it kind of spirals out to be something funny.
Yeah, you're definitely like that. What's it called? I'm not really good at planned humor. I'm better at in the moment humor. But I think I'm pretty good at that. But you're more of like, does this guy hear himself right now?
Yeah,
like he sounds
that's the kind of thing I'm trying to think. Like, it's either that I really built up a good scenario or joke, and that happens a couple times when I'm like I think about it for like half a second, or I say some really dumb shit that gets me into thinking like, what the fuck did I just say? Like 10 seconds afterwards. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, listen, some of the stuff that doesn't go into this podcast is just half of all the dumb shit that can't be aired. No doubt.
Yeah, like, I'll be watching this and like, man, he cut that joke out. It's like...
I don't know.
Moving on. How was your...
yeah.
Christmas?
Christmas was basically the most chill thing I have had in a while, and has been not in the chill where it's like I'm just relaxing. It was chill because I didn't have to feel like I was on Christmas edge, and I feel this is something people can get like behind, because there's a kind of small tension during the holidays of, okay, you gotta watch out for presidents. Not presidents, presidents.
Presidents?
Maybe both this year, but you gotta watch out for presents. You gotta make sure everyone gets the one that they want. Grandma's coming into town, and Auntie Cher's gonna be there, or whatever. and oh, does someone make sure that he's not sick or whatever during the holidays. It's just like sometimes a lot of stress, especially if you're visiting a big family or a big family is visiting you. But for me, it was just me, my aunt, my mother were just hanging out, and we decided to play Monopoly for 6 hours, 2 days in a row. We started this on Christmas Eve at around 4 o'clock, and we decided to just play like a small game because we haven't played the game in about 2 years. And it's always fun. So, and the last time we played it was, I think, before Grandma died. My grandmother died. So, because of that, we're kind of like anxious to play it again since we're really not together that often. And when we were playing it, I was becoming a king, I was becoming a Monopoly king. And the thing is like my aunt was trying to keep herself above water, but eventually I made her go bankrupt. And for my mother, I made her go bankrupt also, to the point where I was having a hard time counting up all the 500s I had. And I had invested all into like, I tried to go for like the rich corners, like orange and red streets, and then green and yellow, just so I can try to get those corners of the board. But the thing is, I only got to houses, but I never got far in the game because we're just like trying to start it out. But in the end, I bankrupted everyone. Well, I didn't bankrupt everyone. I got my mom still in the game. But by the end of like 10:30 at night, we're getting so tired. It's like, okay, last round. And after that, we're going to tally the scores and net worth. And I had like about, I think, 3K to my name. Plus, we didn't count in asset. Actually, no, we counted in houses and assets. So I had 3K to my name. She had 1.5K. So it was all right. And
well, you did better in that than you did in Risk. I wanted to hang out with Yjang after Christmas. So I'm like, hey, man, you want to hang out? And he's like, yeah, sure. I played Monopoly, blah, 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 and all that stuff he said. I'm like, oh, Monopoly is not as good as Risk. He's like, I've never played it. So I say, okay, cool, let's play Risk. And he comes over, and I go to get Risk, but apparently my Risk was gone. So we had to play the off-brand. Well, it wasn't off-brand.
Star Wars.
Worse than regular Risk, which is Star Wars Risk. And we still followed my rules for regular Risk, which made it a bit weird. But it was good. And Yjang was the Empire, I was the Rebels, and my brother was the
and we decided at the beginning to go on a crusade against crime.
Yeah, he just got immediately like obliterated, and then what's it called? Yjang comes in with his big Death Star and like tons of troops, and I pull a single card out that says "Kill all enemy troops." Like
okay, this is let me just tell you
attacking troops, and I just laughed so hard.
I need to pause for a second just to talk about like for the listeners to explain you how much of bull this was. All right. I think Risk could be fun, but the first exposure to that was not, because it seemed like every time he was pulling out a card out of his deck, he was just pulling out some kind of Yu-Gi-Oh! Trap card, and I was like, Kaiba, just like,
you activated my trap card.
I was just, Kaiba, like, what are you doing? How?
No. I was Kaiba because I was the villain.
No, but you won.
Yes, this is a Yu-Gi-Oh! Like alternate world line, boys.
Oh god, it wasn't even fun either. He just had like all the cards of like kill Death Star.
It was so much fun. Dude. And then Yjang gets a card. And he's so hyped because it's take 2 cards from the enemy, and he pulls my 2 shit ones out of the 4 I had, and then I'm left with destroy all enemy units and get 3 extra like points per dice roll when going against the Death Star, and I'm like, he's got.
I was like, come on! I was like, I was really okay. I had a card,
and by the end, they had embraced despair.
It was terrible. It was like a Danganronpa scene where we were just.
Dude, speaking of that, I started playing that game. It's good.
I always think about.
I've not played it through, but I'm in Danganronpa 1, and I just got finished with the second trial. Spoilers, rip Mondo. He was cool.
Yeah, he was.
But what was I gonna say? But no, you faced ultimate despair
Also,
when you fought Schwaggy.
okay. On top of that, we're playing. Yeah, but we finished before we played Risk. We decided to go ahead and put up Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and
because I got it for Christmas.
And okay, let me just say that the listeners have to understand that I feel honest. Swear to God, it's not despair. It's just more of like, it's not even disappointment. It's just like confusion and like a small mix of anger mixed in there because he created a custom me character that is
it's me, by the way. It is
him.
Me in a vampire costume.
But
and I changed my name to the end because I want to put in the end boss, but it didn't.
And his name was Schwaggy.
Schwaggy.
And the thing that he did even made it like a coup d'etat was put in Castlevania. So it was like, okay, this is gonna be like a boss fight. And as I was in the first round, I was actually holding well up against him. And I got him down to 1 stock. But the thing is, though, he has this one side B that is a grab that you can't even penetrate it because it's super armor, and you can't dodge it because if you try to dodge, he'll just grab you by the time you finish your dodge animation. So you're just screwed. And I was using Sonic, the fastest character, just so I can like land hits so it would make it hard for him.
And that's the only reason he even had a chance.
That's the point. Like, if I had to pick a slower character, there was no way I could think about it. And I was trying to think, like, okay, maybe grabs. But then as I was leaving his house, he said, oh, actually, no, if you use, like, a chain or a grab like that, it won't go through because the super armor nullifies it. So So right now, even I'm still trying to figure out, is there a way to defeat Schwaggy? Because, swear to God, the first round, I was like, okay, I get it. This guy's...
He went, like, 6 rounds, and he lost every single one. Also, more friends of mine have come over, even Jacob's friends, and they've all faced Schwaggy, and he is still undefeated.
It's a really terribly good me. It's a really good me character. I just can't think, like, you can't go up down on him where you can, like, get him on the top, because even if you
he has good aerials.
His aerials are good. He doesn't have any bad, his side B is impossible to beat. It's basically better. Imagine if, okay, the best way to think about it, if you played Smash Bros. And you saw, Bowser's side B, where he does the grab. Imagine that, but faster, where you just can't, and it has super armor. And that's what you're dealing up against.
And it, like, doesn't move. Like, you only go, like, a little bit backwards from where he grabbed you. You can't, like, move as you do with Bowser's.
The most you can probably do is, like, back up as far as you can if you're fast enough. But even then, he can just do it right again. And on top of that, by the time he has you on the grab, he can just, side smash and just wreck you off the side.
And his side smash does so much damage.
So it's terribly good. And I don't have, the thing that sucks too is that I don't have Smash right now. So there's not even like a good way for me to practice to beat him. This is like
he will remain undefeated.
Listeners, I need your energy. Help the Patreon so I can get Smash Bros.
Tweet at him ways to like beat the me brawler. You can't do it.
I'm trying to. Tweet at me like, because it's like, it's terribly good. I don't know. At least right at this moment, 2019 is like the year of Schwaggy until undefeated.
God, he's like a like dark lord of vengeance.
Not even that. You put him in Castlevania to make the theme even more ominous. You put the Danganronpa or whatever music it was to put like the most despairing.
No. I was putting on like Persona, like end boss.
Themes. Yes, of course. It was the end boss themes. So it was like, it was meant to make me feel despair. In the first round, I was like, okay, this is fun. All right, he got me on the.
But like by the fourth, you're like, oh my God, is this even possible?
That's the point. It's like, I went for 3.
And you know what is like even worse? The past 2 times, like today, when one of my friends came over, JV, what's it called? He comes over, my brother against Schwaggy, and they still lose. But my brother was playing Marth, which is his best character, and my friend was playing Pichu. He's playing Pichu, and they still lost. So and it was on the Castlevania map as usual. And they had no chance, and I wasn't even trying.
At least I made you try.
I only showed them 5% of my power. Okay.
At least I made you try in the first round. I went against you, so
yeah, because I was like, holy shit, this is a challenge.
I'm the only one who was actually a challenge, but God.
Yeah, but then I learned how to kill Sonic, which is just stay in the air.
Yeah, that's really the only way you can. That's like the best way to get him. If Sonic.
And then my down B with that head smash.
Oh yeah. So okay, here's the thing. Sonic is great on the ground, and if you're at the bottom of your opponent, he's deadly because all his aerial moves are even more powerful. But if you're, but there's no, like, he has no good weight to fall down. He's basically, once you have him in the air, he's like a punching bag that you can just, play around with. But
which I remember once what's it called? I kept you in the air with like 3 up Bs in a row. And it was disgusting, but it was so much. It was so funny. Like, I have so much fun when I'm playing Schwaggy because I feel like an end boss. I'm like, you don't deserve to beat me.
I don't know. I will probably just, what I'm going to do? Probably, I might just beat fire with fire if I can't beat you with Sonic, but I want to beat you with Sonic.
Holy shit. No. I thought you were going to make your own Mii fighter.
I would.
Oh, no, I won't allow it. There can be only one, okay?
We'll see in the future.
Although my brother had his own Mii fighter, which we called Bread, and it stood no chance against Schwaggy.
Oh.
No chance at all. He just got immediately destroyed.
Oh, boy.
But Mii Sword Fighter sucks.
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember.
Mii Brawler, best Mii.
They really buffed up Mii Fighter in this patch in the game, but it's great.
Don't nerf him. Nerf K. Rool instead.
No, actually, you know what?
Let me have this Nintendo.
Don't nerf buff characters. That's the best way to go about this kind of thing, because it's more painful for someone to nerf a character that people like than it is to buff.
You mean like Bayonetta?
Yeah, because it's like I'd rather you buff up other characters' stats than you nerf. Because if you nerf, then you kind of like break a character.
Yeah, like I never played Bayonetta in Smash 4 because I didn't get the DLC, and I've played her in Ultimate, and she's pretty good. But she does feel like, is this all of her moves? Like it feels a bit weird.
Well, the thing is that she was so good because her moves and her stats were so good starting out. So when you played as her, she was basically like mistress that will destroy you. But now, since they buffed up a lot of characters, like you saw how like characters are way different in how you can, you have more leeway of getting hit or doing attacks now.
Yeah, and I mean they changed a lot of characters. Like for example, I liked playing Toon Link in Smash 4, and I still like playing him 5, but he feels a lot different.
Yeah,
it at least to me.
And that's the thing. I feel they just buffed them up, which is I think is a better way to go about it. Just because it's way more fun to know that your characters are better than the last game than it is to find out the character that you like is worse.
Yeah, definitely. What's it called? Like Toon Link back and forth. He was alright, but Main Link was better, I think. But now it's the opposite, where if you play Main Link, it's only because you haven't unlocked any of the other two. And one thing I'm so happy about is they buffed Mac.
Yes.
Oh, I love playing Mac.
What?
And like his aerials were so trash, and they still are trash.
Yeah.
But they're not terrible.
Like right now.
Like it's just mediocre.
Right now, his arrows are like high enough where it's decent for recovery. That's the good thing.
Yeah, it's not something like Greninja or like Ridley who can just fly straight up back to the stage, but it's enough where he won't die if he trips off the stage once.
Plus, like if you hit him off to the side, I mean, depending on how far, if you like put him all the way to the edges, then he's not coming back. But he can definitely get to like the edge of the stage
with the side B.
With the side B, much farther than before.
He can get back. Yeah.
So.
What's it called? And he just feels a bit faster too.
Oh yeah, I think they sped him up if I remember correctly.
which is a good and bad thing because now he's like almost getting close to Sonic speed.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You don't want it to be too close because Sonic speed is like. Here's the reason why Sonic works. He's fast, but his attacks are not as heavy. So.
Yeah, but Max still hit very well.
Exactly. So you don't want to make him too.
But
fast.
the counter is he has like no defense. I mean he has his counter, but it's pretty hard to use.
I mean you have to be in a group to get hit by the counter, basically.
Yeah, one thing I loved what they did was the KO punch in Force felt so useless.
Right.
But now I can land KO punches fairly like regularly. Because this is probably like episode. Wait, no, this will be one episode. I got used to the 12 Days of Tangent.
God,
like,
that was.
I was about to say like I was gonna say like this probably be like episode 8.
Wait, actually, look, I need to talk about 12 Days of Tangent. All right. And I want to give some reflections for anyone who probably wants to do something like a daily show or something like that. All right, guys. If you're doing this, hire an editor or have someone who's willing to do this for you. Because this is not easy. 2, pre-plan episodes ahead of time. Don't do episodes the day of when it's about to come out or the night before. Have already 5 episodes pre-done before you even start episode like 1, all right? Just don't.
Listen. Those were season 1 ran out of money at the end, okay?
Season 1 nearly ran out of money, okay? And I managed to just scrape it together. But my God, I'm telling you now, get yourself an editor or prepare to like go in and put in at least like a good 20 hours of work. That's right. That's like part-time job right there. And edit, for the love of God, all those episodes beforehand. Because you don't want to be the sad guy that edits like the day before Christmas Eve. Just so that way you can get that last episode out, all right?
I bet the one with me singing was such like a breath of fresh air. Because you just had the whole episode right there and decided to put something right at the start, and you're like, "Oh, thank God!"
It was like I was able to do 2 episodes on that day.
Yeah, because the first one probably took you 20 fucking minutes.
Oh God, that was a good one. That was a good day.
I am happy you do this and not me.
I am
sorry.
No, this is. I'm sorry to all the people for all the lazy edits. No,
it's getting better.
It's got better. I've learned new tools and how to use them, but
like this episode should probably be a lot better edited than the 12 days.
Oh yeah,
we'll be actually
I feel like refreshed now, honestly. But you know what's funny after all this? And here's something I learned apparently just by listening to, because my favorite podcast, Hello Internet, also has a 12 Days of Christmas going on right now. And the reason I say right now is because apparently this whole time the 12 Days of Christmas starts on Christmas.
Fake news.
I'm not kidding. You search up on Wikipedia.
No. Listen, this is not the 12 Days of Christmas. It's the 12 Days of Tangent. There's a difference. But we start before Christmas.
But I bet you were like, kind of confused. You thought that it happened before Christmas, right? On the 12th? But that's the thing. The 12 Days of Christmas ends on the 5th of January, actually. It is, because think about it, right? It doesn't make... I understand, like, in Christianity-wise, this is how it really begins. Like, 5 days and then 2 days for New Year, and then after that, all that yada, yada, yada. But, like, 12 days of Christmas after Christmas is like, okay, guy, all right, Christmas Day is already over. Get over it. Put down your lights. We got to get going, all right? We can't just sip on eggnog until 2019, but yeah. Yeah,
well, the 12 days was something. I think we might do something like that again. But, like I said, this episode should be a lot better. So, wrapping this up, thanks for listening to the Tangent Podcast, Season 2, Episode 1.
Yep.
Hope you enjoyed. I don't know what episode this is. Like episode 11, 12.
This is episode 1 of season 2 because I didn't really plan out seasons. I really did not do anything. I was like, I didn't know we had seasons we could do in iTunes. So I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Oh yeah, give a shout out to Julio. Thanks for supporting us on Patreon. And you can get a shout out too if you go and support us at patreon.com/tangent podcast.
Thank you, Julio.
Or is it the Tangent Podcast?
Thank you so much.
I don't know. Look in the description. It'll be there. Follow us on Twitter. Thanks for listening.
T. Krogan, Yjang Winter. See you.
Yeah, you're all great people. Bye. Merry New Year. That's not. Just end it.